What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $1,400 third stimulus check update, fourth stimulus check update, and daily news report. We got lots of things to go on over. Some people are getting more than one check, actually receiving an extra check from the IRS. I'm going to let you know the details about that, as well as the payments that are still going out and the fourth stimulus check coming out in the future. Brand new details about that as well. Lots of things to cover here today. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates on the upcoming round, the fourth round of stimulus checks and stimulus programs. There's so many different things on the horizon, such as student loan forgiveness, Social Security increases, monthly recurring stimulus checks, possibly an expansion of the child income tax credits, along with mortgage assistance, rental assistance, property tax assistance, utility assistance. There's a lot of different things on the horizon for the fourth stimulus round. So don't forget to hit the like button for us down below and subscribe if you haven't yet so you don't miss out on new updates, and let's jump right in. As you can see here, the IRS says that veterans waiting for the third stimulus check will receive money by April 14th. However, you got to put an asterisk there because it won't be 100% of people. To make a blanket statement like that, I don't like to do that because there will always be some people that are still receiving it in the mail, or it's lost, or who knows, several different scenarios. But another batch of direct deposits is going out this weekend and will be pending until April 14th, Wednesday, April 14th, mostly for veterans. Let me know if the IRS Get My Payment tool shows you pending for April 14th, if you see a pending deposit in your bank account, or if your bank account has already cleared it and the money has cleared this weekend. As you can see, the status of their payments should become available on the IRS Get My Payment tool on Saturday or Sunday, which is now. So after this video, you can check and see if it's updated if you haven't received your third stimulus check yet. If you're expecting your check in the mail, expect at least 7 to 10 days for it to come in the mail. A lot of people are like, Jimmy, what's going on? Where's my check? It said it was sent on April 1st. And yeah, I hear you. Unfortunately, between the IRS and the Postal Service, you have two notorious agencies for not being swifter than swift. So unfortunately, you're at the mercy of the IRS and the mail. So expect at least 7 to 10 days in the mail. Also, if your mail was sent to the wrong address and it's returned, or they tried to direct deposit you to the wrong bank account, then this will count for the fourth stimulus check. This is good stuff to know for future stimulus checks as well. If they deposit it to the wrong bank account, it bounces back, then the IRS will send you a check. I seen somebody mention in the comments that they got a letter from the IRS that this happened, and it's going to take 8 to 10 weeks. So yeah, if you have the wrong bank account and they sent it to the wrong bank account, it's got to bounce back. Then the IRS has got to figure all that out and then send you a check. If you have gotten a letter like this, or a letter like this from the IRS that would be helpful to our viewers, email me. You can get my email address by going to my channel and then clicking the About tab, and you'll get my email address. Don't email me questions because I get overwhelmed and there's just too many of them, and I could barely do 4 videos a day to bring you guys all the information. But if you have anything helpful like that, email to me and I'll show it on screen because it could help out thousands of our viewers. I've seen comments from some people that said they received double stimulus checks. So they received a paper check and a direct deposit, or they actually received more stimulus money than they were supposed to. Here's the circumstances which you might need to send that back. And again, this will be good to know for the upcoming fourth stimulus check as well. The IRS wants you to return a stimulus check payment for the following reasons. The government determines who is and isn't eligible to receive a stimulus check based on several factors. If you fall into one of these categories and received a stimulus check, it was likely by error. You received a check for someone who has died, but there's still some nuance here, see below. You don't have a Social Security number. You're considered a, quote, non-resident alien without a U.S. citizen spouse. You're a non-citizen who files federal taxes. Your AGI, adjusted gross income, exceeds the limit for example, $87,000 for a single taxpayer with a second check, or you're claimed as a dependent on somebody else's tax returns. This applies to first and second checks. Not the third one, because the third one, a dependent does get the check, the $1,400. However, it goes to the person that claimed you as a dependent. I'm getting questions from people that say, Jimmy, if I don't get my third stimulus check, do I need to file a tax return for it to claim it? Well, yes and no. And the reason it's no is because it's way too early to do that. So, number one is the third stimulus check is for tax year 2021. So you can't even file a tax return for 2021. That's this year. We're only 4 months into this year. So you can't do that for quite some time. We're looking at 8 or 9 months. You can't do that until like January of next year. It depends on the IRS has dates that you can actually file a tax return, and it's January, February, depending on the year. They change it every year, but you can't even file a 2021 tax return to get your third stimulus check. It's still very early if you haven't gotten your third stimulus check, even though the majority of people have gotten it already. It could be in the mail for you. They're still sending out another wave of direct deposits that is going to clear this Wednesday, especially for veterans, people with the VA. So it's still very early. A lot of people's checks are in the mail. I know we've heard that before. Checks are in the mail. But I mean, if you see the comments down below, you'll see the vast majority of people have received their third stimulus check yet. So if you haven't received it, you're part of the minority. Probably less than 10% of people haven't received it yet. But just stay strong, stay diligent. You will receive it at some point or another. I'll help you through it. If you haven't received your first or second stimulus check, you have to claim that through a tax return for 2020. You claim it on line 30 of the tax return, and you put the amount that the IRS owes you. So if they owe you $600, you put $600 there. If they owe you $1,200 plus 600, $1,800. If you're a dependent, you're not eligible for the first and second stimulus check. The first and second stimulus check did not give checks to people who were dependents. So the person who claimed you as a dependent prevented you from getting a stimulus check, and they got a tax credit for filing you as a dependent. We're probably talking about adult dependents here. But in the third stimulus check, all dependents get a check, children, college students, and adult dependents. But the $1,400 is earmarked to the person who claims you as a dependent. So there's $1,400 for you, but it goes to the person who claims you as a dependent. So you may need to get the money from them, or pry it from their hands or out of their pockets. But there's $1,400 there for you. It's just not sent to you. It's sent to the person who claims you as a dependent. The U.S. is considering cash payments to help curb migration or illegal migration from the Mexican border. As you can see here, the White House is mulling sending cash payments to certain Central American countries to try to help them battle domestic issues that are leading people to migrate to the U.S. This comes from Roberta Jackson, the White House's Southern Border Coordinator, told Reuters in an interview that the possible program would send money to Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. Quote, "We're looking at all productive options to address both economic reasons people may be migrating, as well as the protection and security reasons." Border Patrol agents in March picked up about 168,000 people trying to cross the southern border illegally, breaking the record for the most monthly encounters since March of 2001. 20 years. Wow. Yeah, it's that southern border is a tricky situation. I do not think that sending money to these other countries is the way to combat that. I mean, if you're and who's kidding? Who we're talking about millions and millions of dollars. It's not like they're gonna send them $10,000 and be like, "Hey, here's a stimulus check. Take care of that whole southern border crisis." They're going to talk about millions and millions of dollars. This is a proposed change. It's not finalized yet. But I personally don't think that this is the best way to do it. If you're going to spend that money on our border, create jobs, create all those jobs on the southern border to protect and serve and do all that stuff and pay them good salaries. If you're going to send money, you might as well create jobs here in the U.S. to do that. But that southern border is a very tricky situation. And a lot of people, including Democrats, which is surprising to me about this, are upset that President Biden has stopped the border wall construction. Remember, President Trump, former President Trump, says that the border wall is about 90% completed, and President Biden halted it on his first day in office through an executive order. And Republicans in the Senate actually filed a complaint against President Biden for doing that because that money was approved through Congress, and the president is not supposed to be able to halt money that was approved through Congress. Remember, Congress is largely more powerful than the president. I know it's kind of weird to say that, but it's the checks and balance systems. And that's why we see all these bills, they have to get passed by the House and the Senate, and then it goes to the president. The president almost always signs the bills. So, really, the House and the Senate is, in most ways, more powerful besides going to war, where the president has a lot of power there to decide some things. Yeah, it's the Senate and the House. That's why we talk so much about Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders, because these guys have the power to literally pass or not pass things. And probably the most notable example is Mitch McConnell sending bills to the graveyard, his own graveyard. And I had a funny comment from some guys, some of you, that says that's probably why you're getting coffin ads. I'm getting ads for coffins on my articles, and I'm like, why are they showing me ads for coffins? And so some couple people said it's probably because you're talking about Mitch McConnell's graveyard. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're probably right. I talk about a graveyard, and all of a sudden they start showing me ads for coffins. It's like, what is the world coming to? But yeah, Mitch McConnell sent that $1,400 third stimulus check, the Cash Act, that passed the House, and he sent it to the Mitch McConnell graveyard. And that shows you how powerful one person, one single person in Congress can be. I remember reporting that there was enough Republican votes to pass that. They only needed 10 in the Senate to pass it. It passed the House with bipartisan approval, and Mitch McConnell just single-handedly stopped that check from going. That check would have gone through at the very end of December, maybe maybe early January. But that would have likely been the third stimulus check, and this one that Biden passed probably would have been the fourth one already. So it's pretty safe to say, in my opinion, that we did miss out on a complete stimulus check of $1,400 because Mitch McConnell did that. And it's not that I'm blaming him because he's Republican or not. I'm just blaming him because of who he is, because he literally sent that bill to die, and it passed the House bipartisan for $1,400. And that would have happened before Biden took office. So I really think that with this next package, Biden would have passed another stimulus check. So we would have already gotten the fourth stimulus check. So unfortunately, we missed out on a complete stimulus check there. But the good news is that we have almost 100 different Democrats already pushing for a fourth stimulus check. So let's keep them coming because they owe us one. Let me know if you agree or not. Brand new article just today. The push is heating up for the fourth stimulus check to be included in the infrastructure plan. As you can see here, President Biden facing pressure to include a fourth stimulus check in the upcoming infrastructure bill. As you can see here, some lawmakers are pressuring the president to include another round of coronavirus relief checks among the provisions of the infrastructure bill. This would include a fourth stimulus check for eligible families, following the $1,400 third payment that is still currently being distributed into bank accounts across America. Lawmakers go on record in support of another stimulus check. As the president pushes forward with the infrastructure plan, more than 75 lawmakers from the left side, the Democrats, have already gone on record to urge the administration to authorize a fourth direct payment. This includes members of both the House and the Senate, some of whom are pushing for recurring stimulus checks for the duration of the pandemic. Many of these lawmakers have been advocating for more COVID-19 relief since the president took office, even as Biden laid out his proposal to authorize the largest coronavirus check available to date, the third stimulus check. In fact, just a week after the new president took office, 56 House members sent a letter urging more relief funds than the $1,400 checks that the president had planned for us. They have now been joined by 21 members of the Senate who recently sent President Biden another letter encouraging him to include recurring monthly stimulus payments in the Build Back Better package, the infrastructure slash stimulus package. So I think before all is said and done, we are going to see multiple different stimulus provisions in this infrastructure package. And the more we get away from the third stimulus check package, and the third stimulus check package becomes an afterthought, a distant memory. Oh yeah, that was done in the. For example, the second stimulus check package. No one thinks about that, and you think, oh, it's been a long time since they've done stimulus checks and all these other different things. And I think that in the fourth stimulus check package, now that the third checks have gone out for about 90% of people that are receiving the checks, you've either already gotten them or they're in the mail and you will be receiving them soon. I do think that they're going to include at least a single stimulus check in this next package, but probably a lot of other different things in there. Bernie Sanders and a lot of Democrats are pushing for Medicare expansion to include hearing coverage, dental coverage, and hearing aid coverage, among other things. And that will be really great because that going to the dentist alone can cost hundreds of dollars. And if they include free coverage for that for people on Medicare, that would be amazing. They're also talking about Medicare for all, which may or may not happen because that's a little more radical idea. But what could happen is they could lower the Medicare eligibility age by 5 years or something like that. So millions more people will be able to qualify for it earlier. And we also could see the Social Security increases that we've long been awaiting. President Biden is the one who campaigned on $200 per month Social Security increases. Will we see that included in this next package before all is said and done? Will they include student loan forgiveness in this next package before all is said and done? In fact, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said just a few days ago that President Biden is still considering cancellation of as much as $50,000 per person in student loan debt or with student loan forgiveness. So she says, we have not ruled out any options. And the White House currently is looking into if they can do this student loan debt cancellation simply through a presidential executive order. If they do this, it won't even need to go through Congress. They won't need to pass it through a reconciliation process. It's unlikely that any Republicans would vote for that. So, really, it needs to be included in this infrastructure package or go the presidential executive order route. I personally think they'll end up going the presidential executive order route. President Biden has already canceled $2.3 billion of two different rounds, mini rounds of student loan forgiveness. $1 billion in the first round for people that were defrauded by their colleges or their colleges closed, and another $1.3 billion for the second round of student loan cancellation for people with permanent disabilities and were behind on their payments or their payments were being garnished. And there's qualifications for both rounds of those. He also recently just paused over a million more people's student loan payments, garnishments, and interest. So he's done three different rounds of student loan forgiveness or help. And we are expecting at least a $10,000 student loan forgiveness for the masses in the future because, well, President Biden himself said that he's willing to do at least $10,000 of student loan forgiveness. So, and really, I personally think, and some people say that I started the movement for this, but I personally think that once they pass $10,000 or more of student loan forgiveness, that we're going to see a new push. And remember, the renewed push by both people and congressmen and congresswomen are really the way that things get done. The more and more support you have for something, the more likely it gets done in Congress. And I think that after they pass student loan forgiveness, we're going to see a lot of people saying, well, you give $10,000 of student loan forgiveness to people with student loans. What about people without student loans? Can you do some type of debt forgiveness for them? Can you do credit card debt forgiveness or medical debt forgiveness? Or one of the other ones that's very possible would be some mortgage debt forgiveness. So maybe $10,000 of mortgage debt forgiveness because the vast majority of mortgage loans are actually owned on the back end by the government. So they can simply do that through an executive order because the debt's already owned by the government. They don't need to print any money. They just forgive some of that debt. So it'll be interesting to see if and when the movement happens. After, I likely think it'll be after they do the $10,000 or more of mass student loan forgiveness, more than just those couple mini rounds. We're talking about like for the masses. I think there's 45 million people that have student loan debt in the United States. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after that. So I'll keep you up to date on everything. Like I said, there's lots of different provisions on the horizon for the fourth stimulus round. Too many to even repeat. But yeah, there's a lot of things. If you've been following the channel, you know that there's a lot of different things on the horizon for the next round of the next round of stimulus. So I'll keep you up to date with everything. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on upcoming videos regarding the next round of stimulus. After subscribing, click the bell icon to all notifications to get reminder notifications when we go live, which is every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss out on a video because we talk about different stimulus provisions in different videos. For example, we don't cover student loan debt every video. Sometimes it's unemployment, sometimes it's stimulus checks, sometimes it's mortgage and rental assistance. We cover different things in different videos, so don't miss out on any videos because you just might see something that pertains to you and might save you or get you thousands of dollars from these different programs. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. That's where I teach people how to sell products on Amazon. Amazon has a program where you can sell products on there. They store the products for you and ship the products for you. And I've had dozens of people replace their 9-to-5 income doing that. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.